right, guys. So, somebody had sent me this video today from Jarvis, right? I believe that's his name, right? Jarvis. It says it right here. How do I not know that? And it's about Dhar Mann and about how apparently he's a bad guy. Huge Dhar Mann allegations. The allegation is that he's kind of a mean boss. Now, I love Dhar Mann, so I would have talked about this anyway. But just so you know, a fan of mine, a good fan, a loyal fan, an honest, trustworthy fan, okay, reached out to me with it and said, Papa Gut, I have a friend who's worked with Dhar Mann before and done a few different roles for Dhar Mann, and that friend, they told me that friend said that that Dhar Mann was a meanie pants. So now, you know, from my very reputable source, that as a honorable, trustworthy CNN, Fox News executive, you can trust me. We have mounting. The allegations are mounting, guys. Okay, so let's get this going here.
Hey, Dhar Mann fam. If you know me, you know.
Hey, Dhar Mann fam. I thought it was fans, but
that I watch a lot of Dhar Mann videos. I've talked about him on my main channel. I've talked about him on my gold channel. And for the past year, I have created a little bingo game on my stream and my live channel based around the fact that Dhar Mann videos are so incredibly predictable.
They're so incredible is what you meant to say.
That all of their tropes fit on a bingo board. Ooh!
Fungus.
I don't know if this is going to come up.
Mom always say, what happens in the dark?
Are you serious? And it's been fun. It's been fun for me, and it's been fun for my community to make fun of these poorly told stories with questionable morals, because we know how extremely successful and lucrative they are. We know that they're relatively low budget, and we see the views, and we see how often the videos come out, and we know how much money the operation is printing. We don't know exactly, but we know that it's a gargantuan amount of money.
Hey, listen, good for Dhar Mingus. I wish. Am I right, guys? I should start making my own Papa Man. That sounds cringe, but something would be cool.
Also fun because we make a point not to drag the actors who are working and acting in the Dhar Mann videos, because they are just doing a job and they are finding a way to make a living doing their craft. And
yeah, craft is probably about as crafty as cheese, but you know, I will say that part of the hook of the Dhar Mann videos is that they are cringe. Like that's part of the joke there, is that they're kind of cringe. And so that's why they get, because Dhar Mann has gotten very popular. I genuinely believe out of people reacting to him because he makes like very memeable stuff. And people are like, oh, this is preposterous, let's react to him. And then all of a sudden you're seeing more Dhar Mann. That's how reaction stuff kind of works. You know, okay, guys, it's not just a cope for me. And so I think he tells them to play up the cringe. So
I think that is a perfectly respectable thing to do that doesn't need to be made fun of. There's tons of stuff outside of that to be made fun of in the Dhar Mann universe. But what absolutely is wrong is what the actors at Dhar Mann Studios are dealing with right now. A number of Dhar Mann actors and staff are staging a protest outside of Dhar Mann Studios.
Oh, man, up to us.
Because they don't make a living wage acting in Dhar Mann videos.
Don't make a living wage. Interesting. Should they, though? And listen, it's a real question, okay? It's like I don't know how exactly the acting world works, but like if we're talking about extras that come on for an hour a day, like what livable wage do they need to see, you know?
Should be ridiculous to you, especially for like the regular actors. Some of these actors have been working on Dhar Mann for 4-5 years at this point.
Yeah.
Because they are in so many videos. They produce so many videos. And those videos have never stopped.
I just saw the most insane Chris Hansen type video. Did you take on it? Okay, yeah, if you want to send it to me somewhere. What is it?
Getting millions of views. Traditionally, actors have unions to protect them from predatory wage practices.
Sure.
But Dhar Mann's whole operation is non-union. And so that allows them to cut corners and pay dramatically lower wages.
True. And you want to know what, though? They did the same thing to the Power Rangers. I'm being serious. They don't pay the Power Rangers very well. Kind of messed up. Do you ever wonder why every season there's a new set of actors? That's because they don't want them to stay around long enough for them to try to fight for their rights. All right, I've been watching Power Rangers videos offline. No, I'm not a neckbeard Redditor mod. Okay, this is actual investigatory research that I've been doing. All right, none of your business. It's very important.
There's a hashtag going around right now, and a lot of people have been sending this to me, called hashtag protest Dhar Mann. And if you go to this hashtag on TikTok, you will see a lot of the Dhar Mann actors posting videos and sharing video of the scene of their protest and kind of exposing the Dhar Mann operation as not being the morally good and happy-go-lucky place that it appears in the stories that are changing lives. As a quick aside, I just want to call out...
Well, let's just be real. None of those stories have changed anybody. Well, they made my life happier because they're funny to watch.
The fact that so many Dhar Mann videos for years ended with Dhar Mann saying, and remember, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives. And when you share our videos, you're helping to change lives too. I used to joke that, like, no, we're changing your life. We are padding your pockets.
True.
Because... you know, it's a very manipulative thing to tell your audience. You're not.
Well, it's not necessarily manipulative I guess you mean it, but then we react to it. We all profit. All right.
Changing anybody's life by sharing a Dhar Mann video where like a
Dhar
evil
Mann
babysitter gets what was coming to them, and that's fine.
Good.
But like, let's
Beat
not
up
get on
that
a moral high
babysitter.
horse about it, especially when, like, you know, you're not practicing what you preach. So where I want to start with this is one of the Dhar Mann actors. His name is Colin Borden, and he
like a nerd.
can regularly be seen in Dhar Mann videos playing the affable dad who has no clue what his kids are up to.
Really? That guy's complaining? Because that guy is a Dhar Mann staple. Okay. Yeah, links don't work in chat. That guy's a Dhar Mann staple. Okay. If he's complaining, I'm listening. All right.
I think he's
my dad.
a good overview of this whole situation.
Essentially, as an actor at Dhar Mann Studios, I am just a contract player. I have no employment there. I am just sort of called every now and then, as are all the other actors. And it just is not sustainable. And there are a lot of issues at hand here, but one of the main...
But my thing is, like, here's all jokes aside, you know, from a sustainability perspective, it's an acting job. I don't know how sustainable acting is really supposed to be or how much it can be. I'm sure Dhar Mann makes a lot of money, and he should be paying people a little bit more proportionately to the amount of money that they're bringing in through the acting, at least in my opinion, especially the people who are reoccurring. But, you know, if you like, these videos are like 10 minutes long, usually. Let's say they're like 15 minutes long. You're maybe I can't imagine them acting for any longer than an hour or two a day because they're so bad, and they're intentionally bad, but they're so bad. So what is it like? What's the amount of work to pay ratio? You know, that's my question. Because, like, honestly, because I like this guy, he's a fun meme. But then also, it's not like any of these guys are actual actors. Like, they're bad budget actors. I don't know. I still think that they should get paid decently if Dhar Mann's making fucking money, but...
main issues is that not a single actor that works at Dhar Mann Studios can afford rent.
Let that sink in. That is a absurd reality. Obviously, like, it's a claim here.
Maybe.
I don't know it to be true, but I have every reason...
We would have to know what their acting contracts are. Because, like, there's like too much going on here. Yeah, we would have to know their acting contracts, which I know sounds like kind of weird. Like, oh, why would we be privy to that information? But that's really the only way that we can kind of operate here is if we know their contracts. Because, like, we don't know their hours worked versus how much they get paid.
And to believe the number of actors who work at this company corroborating this story than I do, you know, the corporate bigwigs who may be denying it. So that sucks.
This is a show that has millions of views across multiple social media platforms. Videos are shot, edited, posted, repackaged as new videos, reposted in other places over and over and over and over and over again, racking in millions of views, ad revenue, all this sort of stuff. The studio has continued to expand for some time. My entire tenure there, when I first started, we shot everything, as I've told you guys on lives and things like that. We shot everything in an apartment building downtown, in an apartment, not even the building. Occasionally we would go to the garage of that building, but it was really just all in one apartment. Now there are 3 sound stages in Burbank, but things haven't really gotten better for us.
So that is one of the big tenets here. Actors like Colin, who have been with Dhar Mann for years and years and years, have seen the operation grow, and maybe, you know, we're willing to, you know, especially when you start at a smaller company that's an upstart or a startup or something like that, you know what they're working with, and you can sometimes be willing to take less pay with the hope that this grows over time and the organization grows over time.
Sure, but that's like an explicit agreement. So, like, let's say that Papa Gut was going to make a Papa Gut gaming channel, and he was going to look for an editor, and he decided to pay the editor. He said, "Listen, I can't pay you anything right now, but I'll give you a particular percentage right now, and then as it rolls off, you'll maintain that percentage." Okay, that is explicitly working. I'm sorry. That's explicitly saying, like, hey, if you build with me, I'll appreciate you. You will put in the effort in the front end, and then we'll get something in the back end, and it'll be worth it. You know, we're all taking a little bit of a risk, you know, for a little bit of investment. But this is the thing. Again, like, we're talking about really budget actors that aren't good, and God bless them, because I love Dhar Mann, And it's like, I don't know. I would have to see the specifics because like maybe they do deserve more. I mean, like, listen, if I was Dhar Mann, I'd probably pay people pretty good because I'm a nice guy. But you know, like some people do. There's like one of the obnoxious kids. Sorry, but he like reacts to Dhar Mann videos that he's in, and like that's how he makes a career. It's like, well, that's intelligent, you know. You know, they aren't getting a percentage. That's the thing is like you can't really do a percentage on a YouTube video necessarily because like there's views going on like forever. It's weird. Like if you're like I know like the scenario if I had like an editor I could do a percentage, but like if you have like 10 actors per video and then you have like they're only in every other video or every third video and you can't really do like I'll give you this percentage of this video. It gets annoying. You're better off just doing like an overall like here's how much money I'll just give you in the upfront. I would need to know how much he's paying them for their hour of
and
time.
then you are rewarded for your investment of your time in the organization when it was, you know, not able to pay you in the same way.
Sure.
Not able to compensate you in the same way. This is why a lot of companies give stock, you know, like tech companies and stuff, like will give stock to their employees so that they are incentivized and they are compensated with the growth of the company. But this sounds like, you know, these people have not seen a noticeable raise in their pay.
Yeah,
as the
probably because they're budget actors.
Organization around them has gotten more and more like gigantic.
And again, I don't want to go into specifics because it's a kind of a big thing and it's really just between us.
Yeah, that's the problem though. It's like it's interesting to speculate on, but like if we don't go into specifics, we're not really never going to be able to like pass a judgment, which makes sense. But by the way, like they should be advocating for themselves. I'm not saying don't advocate for themselves. It's just one of those things where like I doubt that there was anything written in stone, you know.
But I think that people should be aware of why we are protesting, why we
That's
are
fair.
out there.
They're good for them. They
Right
should
now,
be
we're talking
advocating.
to a lot of actors. It's the same. Everybody feels the same across the board. The trouble is, there's a culture at the studio of if you talk, you're out.
Yeah.
So we decided to come together as a group and talk collectively with our boss, Dhar Mann.
That's also pretty concerning, right? You can imagine how terrifying it is.
I'm not trying to be rude. Like, I guess it is kind of concerning, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it is a little bit concerning. It's kind of shitty. It's something that I would generally expect from them. I'm just gonna restart this whole thing. That I would generally expect from like that. If you talk, we're gonna spank your bottom or whatever. Considering again they're like very low budget actors. They did the same thing to Power Rangers, bro. They did my boy Tommy wrong. My boy Billy.
That if you speak out against the boss or you try to communicate, you know, something that's not working for you, then you're at risk of your job. That does not sound like a healthy working environment just from the jump. So the reason that they've all had to band together is so that they can't like fire all of them. And I would not be surprised if Dhar Mann tried to get rid of this problem by just firing all these people. And that would be a terrible way to go. I really hope.
Not Hot Dog Daddy. And the mom's hot. Oh my God. I forget who the Dhar Mann mom is hot. I'll find her.
That he, you know, listens, but the rest of Colin's story does not inspire confidence.
We sent a letter to him, a hard copy and an email. The email was CC'd to the head of production as well, so we made sure that Dhar got it, but it was addressed to Dhar. It was delivered to Dhar. That letter was forwarded to the HR department, which we are not employees of Dhar Mann Studio.
HR department. The one thing this is the mom that I'm talking about. For some reason, I like the mom. She's hot to me. I don't know what it is. Just so that you guys know something really quick about HR departments. And if you are somebody that works in HR, you'll probably know exactly what I'm saying. But HR does not exist for the employee. HR exists for the employer, right? HR is supposed to exist so that like employees can leverage valid complaints against their employers and get some kind of worker protection. HR is there to protect the interests of the actual company themselves. They get paid by the company, okay? So you're not going to really, you're barking up the wrong tree, unfortunately.
Because we are contract players. So exactly what we have to do with HR, we're not entirely sure. But it was forwarded over there. We were contacted, said we could have a meeting to discuss our issues. That meeting was pushed several times, changed on us. When we finally got to the meeting, we had reiterated that we wanted it to be with Dhar. Dhar was not there.
That's fucked. It's like, damn. You are the guy. You are the guy. Do you not?
That part I don't necessarily care about. I'm more interested, like, what did they talk about in the meeting? He should have been there, obviously. I'm more interested in, like, did you guys give them your complaints and did they take them seriously and, like, actually work with you to, that's what I care more about than whether or not Dhar Mann, like, showed up. He should have showed up, but.
Respect these people enough to show their face and listen to the problems that they have. The people that have worked at your organization for years and years. The people who, the fans are going to notice. You know what I mean? It reminds me of just like a, I don't know, it reminds me of Power Rangers back in the day, where similarly non-union work.
True.
And due to like contract disputes and pay disputes, which were really low, and the Power Rangers actors were having to do martial arts and crazy stunts where they were putting real risk to their bodies.
True.
Were not being paid a fair wage, and when 3 of them tried to step up and negotiate, they were just fired and replaced. And then they cut together an episode where, with existing footage, where they like handed off the powers while these other 3 Rangers went away into the sunset. But in reality, they were fired for asking for a little bit more pay.
Yeah, and they would bully Billy for being gay. They would bully Billy for being gay, guys. Fucked up.
For the work that they were doing with their bodies. It's not a perfect analog, but it reminds me that corporations will do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And workers have to advocate for themselves a lot of the times if they're not protected by things like unions. And
yeah, I think Power Rangers argument, like they were like, well, half the footage is already shot from blah 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 blah, which is like kind of true, but still, I mean, if they're making you money, like chill the fuck out.
It feels weak. It feels weak that the meeting was moved multiple times and that Dhar Mann won't meet with them. Just meet with your people, dude. I don't care if they're contractors. No one knows that. These are the people that they associate with Dhar Mann videos. I see this guy, I go, dad in Dhar Mann videos.
Hey, Dhar Mann fam.
And I've seen job postings come through. A lot of times people will send me Dhar Mann job postings, and I will find out about the pay that they're offering at various,
what is it?
roles within Dhar Mann Studios, and they're always like the bottom of the barrel pay.
What's the pay and what's the role?
They're always like the lowest like pay you could possibly be offering for this type of role, because it's an industry where you can get like real experience in this like production environment.
But that part's true though, right? So like if it's some bullshit ass role that requires shit acting, because that's what most of these roles are. Like, let's be absolutely clear. Then like what is it that you're expecting? That's the real question for me. I'm more concerned with the guys that are working there like religiously and have become their own personalities. But for those people, what they have to understand is like it's kind of like the acting world where you're only as valuable as like the value that you can generate, right? So like when they did their Star Wars remakes, they had like Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, I think only got paid like $200,000 or something. Meanwhile, Mark Hamill got like $1 million just for the end of the first video, and Harrison Ford got like $40 million. And it's because they hadn't kept their careers up. So like I said, that there's the one white kid has his own TikTok, and he has his own reaction channel where he reacts to Dhar Mann videos, and it's like a smart business model so that he can like he can use that notoriety or the fame that he's gotten and turn it into something. A lot of these other actors are kind of just putting all their fishies in one basket, and I think that's where a significant amount of the issues are coming in, honestly.
Millions of views, it's a big name and stuff. That is not an excuse for treating people like resources.
We checked back in following a couple days, reiterating again, we would like to speak specifically with Dhar. This is what the meeting is about. This is
Dhar.
This is who we want to talk to.
I'm thinking of other arguments you can make. Like, it's a big operation. If a few employees at like, I don't know, Google wanted to meet with the CEO, they may not be able to do that. They might not be able to accommodate that because it's tens of thousands of people. I do not think the Dhar Mann company is that big to warrant this type of thing. I have worked at companies.
No, it'll always be like if Dhar Mann doesn't show up, it's probably like because he's pissed off at them for advocating for themselves. But I'm still more concerned on like whether or not like their shit is listened to genuinely, He's
larger than Dhar Mann's company.
I just realized
I'm
I should
sure
probably
of it.
move this.
And the CEO, I don't know what his actual role is in the company, but the face of it should be available for something like this. Especially just like, even if he's not required like legally or professionally, like personally, like come on, you know what I mean? Where's the heart?
It shows us it's a sign of respect
that a lot of people have with this, like as I'm reading the comments, is like this is antithetical to how Dhar Mann presents himself, and it's why it's true. One of the reasons it's so upsetting. I've known for years that Dhar Mann is like just a businessman. He's a serial entrepreneur. He had businesses before this, and he'll have businesses after this. But a lot of kids and a lot of branding from this,
and he got very upset at Cody Cohn, I believe,
operation has positioned him as this like morally good guy who just wants to like tell good stories. You know what I mean? And I think it's important that like people are like seeing through the shit. I thought Dhar Mann was all about being good to others, but that's kind of cruel. Dhar Mann took the fattest L, and Dhar Mann says what happens in the dark always comes to light. Literally, there's so many people saying what happens in the dark always comes to light.
We learned Saturday there will not be a meeting. Meanwhile, a lot of other stuff has happened at the studio. Some not great stuff. Whether it's connected or not, we don't know because no one's talking to us. So that's why we're here right now, because all we wanted to do was sit down and have a conversation with our boss. That didn't happen. We were told explicitly that there will not be any meetings and that any issues that we have can be written down and forwarded to HR.
Damn.
And that's just not acceptable.
They're
And it's
really
worth noting
just
that
giving
through
the
all of
old
this, these people just want to
pop.
go back to work. They just like they're like, please just like let us make a living wage so that we can continue working on these silly videos.
The goal is to keep going to work, to have a conversation with Dhar, and to keep working at Dhar Mann Studios with the people that I love, doing the work that I love. We'll see.
I cannot believe that it would really eat into the profit margins that much. It just feels, and I haven't seen the books, I don't know, but it just feels like corporate greed, dude.
Probably.
And we've seen it. You know, we've seen all of these layoffs.
Again, we need to see like what the we need to know the specifics, like how much they're getting paid and stuff. It was just absolutely necessary.
It happening across a number of industries right now. It's kind of like the moment that we're in, but it never gets easier to see, like when companies like show their true colors.
Mostly the OG actors of Dhar Mann Studios are at the studio.
Arriving united.
Yeah.
Nick, what are you protesting?
I'm protesting the man never talks to anyone, he silently fires people, and he doesn't pay anyone what they're worth.
Damn. I mean, we're hearing some of the stuff. He doesn't talk to anyone. He doesn't pay people what they're worth. These are the claims. And and I'm just like, you know, as someone who like would prefer to align myself more with the workers here than Big Dhar, because he's got all the resources in
Big Dhar
in the world to defend himself. I'm, you know, more likely to take these actors at their word. We've got Mira Mulroney here. She always plays.
Oh yeah, I remember her. She's not bad too. Yeah, I remember her.
The mean girl. She's always kind of a jerk.
She's always a
we love her
racist.
for it.
For over like 4.5 years. I mean, that's more than a college education. So to be treated like I'm not even worth being listened to at all, that was just, there are so many like other.
You'll notice.
It's just so hard, bro, because like I do feel for them, because there's two sides to this. There's like one side where like Dhar Mann's probably making good money, so we could probably pay them better, and I think he should. But then on the other hand, you have these actors who are fucking terrible. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but they're all horrible. It's all over the top bad acting, and like I think again the problem is that they're not looking at it in the correct way, where it's like you become where you will get this kind of celebrity status, and you need to take it and run with it in a different direction, generate like some like people like them, but you need to you should try to build some kind of a celebrity presence outside of Dhar Mann, and then Dhar will be more forced to be like, well, you know, when I'm in your videos, I do this and that. You know, I'm this person. Like I said, I have to find that like fucking annoying white kid that has his own thing.
Just that they're making a bunch of noise. I think that's to disrupt the work that's happening there. I guess it's like hard to film in that environment. It's hard to work in that environment. They just want to be heard. It really sucks that it's come to this, but it also sucks that the people, you know, I feel like a broken record at this point, but you know, to see people who've like really invested so much of their time for so little, it's like, it's not a charity, of course, and they're exchanging, you know, their labor for money, but it's okay to ask for more.
I think it's just the problem is that these people are probably want to be like really good actors, and they've like I think deluded themselves, I don't know if that's the right term, into thinking that like they actually are good actor. I'm really not trying to be mean, because I'm sure all these people are very good. This is the kid that like has his own social media. All right, come on, give me the kid, give me the right kid. What's going on here? I'm kind of liking this. Not that. Whatever's going on here. This kid. Okay. That kid has his own social media presence. Wow, they have it in all different like languages. That's actually really cool. I don't remember what his name is, but he has his own social media presence. And you know, that's kind of what you have to do, man. That's kind of what you got to do.
Especially because it's not a living wage, and they've been trying to make things work, you know, and hoping that they'll get better, and they've reached a boiling point, and that's why we're here. Someone's holding up a felon, felon sign, actually. You know, not a lot of people know this, and this is a little unfair. What does this say? Never judge a felon by his
cock.
Something. And I feel conflicted about saying this, but this is in reference to the fact that Dhar Mann was charged with a felony. He did defraud the city of Oakland. This is 2012. Dhar Mann was in Oakland. He had a pot business, and he was charged with defrauding a city beautification program in Oakland.
Damn.
To the tune of like, I think it's like 40 grand or something like that. Wow. Yeah, the city paid Mann more than $44,000 based on fraudulent paperwork. Now, this has since been expunged. I do have to say that. And I do think that people can
change,
grow,
of course,
you know, from their transgressions in the past. But I was providing that context as to why, you know, this particular person is taking that blow right now. What's her sign say? Multimillionaire ignores actors, instantly regrets it.
Nice.
Is where the Carl mural used to be.
So this is another interesting allegation. There was a beloved Dhar Mann actor named, I believe, Carl Judy, who passed away. And to honor his memory, they made a mural at the Dhar Mann Studios of him, posted it on social media, and then apparently took it down a few days later. I don't know about you, but that seems to me that it was just for the clout of it all, and that doesn't feel good. One could argue that they needed that, you know, area for production or what have you. It is unsettling, and if the workers are also unsettled by it, I think that validates my feeling a little bit, because they know more than me. They said maybe the landlord told them to take it down, so we don't know the context. We don't know the context, but
maybe they did.
They mentioned it.
I wasn't supposed to cry, but it's just that I felt alone for a long time.
Man, this is just, it's just so sad. It's just so sad.
There's an atmosphere of fear there, really. And so,
what is this, a fucking WWE wrestler? What the hell is he wearing? What the fuck?
So because we saw, if you do bring something up, all of a sudden you disappear.
If you won't listen to us, if you don't respect us, like, we're gonna show up and we're gonna show you that we mean business. And if it hurts your brand, like, I'm sorry, but you don't get to go around acting like you're a moral.
It's probably not going to really hurt the brand, because I don't think most people really care that much. Most people, I think, watch the Dhar Mann videos because they're just like corny and funny to watch. And they're not going to care about the behind the scenes stuff. And most people, like, whether you like it or not, are going to have like a similar take to me, where it's like, oh, okay, like they're, you know, they're kind of replaceable. Hey, you hate to say it, you hate to see it, but, you know, there's like a level of truth to it. And it's sad, but it's kind of the truth, you know? And so, like, they're somewhat replaceable. And so they're getting, unfortunately, they're getting replaced. They're getting replaceabled, you know? I don't know, they should have done something with the fame that they got, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
When you treat the people who helped make you like crap, it's not fair. And he's not going to be able to pretend that he spreads good messages when he doesn't treat the people around him.
She's spitting. Well said, Mira Mulroney. I mean, that really hits the nail on the head.
Maybe our man's just fighting back against systemic oppression by oppressing the white people, trying to get them to see how does it feel for you, whitey? White blonde woman, huh? Am I right, guys? Are we woke here? Are we woke?
I think that he should get bad press for this. He should have to respond. You know, like, it sucks that the workers have had to go public in order to motivate Mr. Man to respond.
Mr. Man.
They have, and I think that we should support them. I personally will not be, you know, engaging with Dhar Mann stuff. Dhar Mann Bingo is on indefinite hiatus until the situation gets sorted out.
He put fucking Dhar Mann Bingo on hiatus, dude. This is getting fucking serious now.
I hope that it's sorted out in a way that is, you know, equitable and fair to the workers. But if it doesn't, then fuck Dhar Mann. But, you know, like, I'm going to keep an open mind and see what happens. But I wanted to highlight this, and I wanted to share that these type of things happen. They happen a lot. They happen a lot in workplaces. And this is just, you know, a place that it's happening very publicly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks for hanging with me, and thanks for listening. And, you know, I'll link, you know, some of the TikTok accounts of these people, link some of the social accounts of the actors that are protesting right now. And I'm going to keep following this, and hopefully we see a conclusion that makes everyone happy. Okay, bye.
Is that the one who makes all the money is Dhar. Dhar Mann is his name.
But all we wanted to do was talk about it. Like, we just want a meeting with our boss. We wouldn't even ask for what we deserve. We wouldn't even ask for what is fair. We would ask for what is, like, somewhat humanly decent. When this was kind of a rinky-dink production, we were okay with that, because this was like kind of like this, like, weird niche punk rock thing. We felt like we were family, and, like, we're okay to watch it grow. Now when something does grow, and when you were such a huge part of that brand, like, none of us can go anywhere without being recognized or being tied to that brand.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.